In our headlines for this evening, agriculture officials say there is hope for cabbage production and the Gender Affairs Division to facilitate prostate education session. The details are straight ahead. Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Wednesday, January 14th, 2015. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. Minister of Lands, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, today made another appeal that persons desist from vandalizing government equipment. More details in this report.
Minister of Lands and Housing, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, and General Manager of the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation, Dexter Bonkamper, today visited the Nevis Island Administration's quarry at New River Estate, from which a piece of equipment has been stolen.
Yesterday we had some work done here with this machine, and everything was intact when we left here yesterday afternoon. But lo and behold, this morning we received a call from the two persons who work here that the battery, which is a very expensive battery, it is a lithium battery. It's not one of the ordinary type of batteries that you'll use in your motor vehicle. So it was a battery that was removed or stolen, let me say stolen, from this piece of equipment overnight or sometime between last night and this morning.
He then stated the cost and reason for procuring the equipment.
I want to say that it is an expensive piece of equipment, but a very important one though. We would have spent just about $200,000 including purchasing, shipping, and all other expenses that were involved in getting it here to Nevis. We felt that it was needed to take us to the next level here at the quarry, whereby we can have various type of material being produced here to satisfy the demands that are out there.
Minister Jeffers says staff in his ministry will continue to do their job to the best of their ability, but he is urging persons to desist from vandalizing and removing equipment from the quarry.
We are not happy, and indeed we would hope not to come back here to report on such incidents again, but people would have to understand we have a job to do and we're going to do it.
That was Minister of Lands and Housing, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers. I am Felicia Library reporting for the Nevis Newscast.
Thanks, Felicia. The Ministry of Social Development's Gender Affairs Division is inviting men on Nevis to an educational session which is slated for tomorrow, January 15th. Today we spoke with Division Coordinator Lorraine Archibald, who gave the reason for the exercise.
We will be at the Social Services Department, Gender Affairs Division. We'll be having a doctor from the Urology Associate to speak to the men about their prostate. Getting this knowledge about your prostate will help to encourage the men more men to come on out to the sessions that will, the screening session that will be held. But tomorrow it will be an educational session where you will know more about your prostate. This came about because at the Gender Affairs Division of the Social Services Department, we have just started a men's forum. And we think that this is an opportunity for the doctors to talk to the men, so that we can get more men to come and be part of our men's forum when we officially launch this program on the 31st of January. Well, this session will be held at the Red Cross building from 6 p.m. Remember, it's tomorrow, Thursday, the 15th. At the Red Cross building.
Archibald also spoke to some of the subjects which will be covered during tomorrow's presentation.
Some of the areas that I expect the doctor or doctors to address is what is the prostate, the signs and symptoms of an enlarged prostate, what tests are being done to detect an enlarged prostate and to know if you have prostate cancer. I would like to take this opportunity to invite men to this session that we will be having. Well, you start screening from the age of 40 years old, but as part of prevention, I would be happy if young men too can come along so that they can become knowledgeable about their prostate. So I'm inviting one and all to come along.
Tomorrow evening's educational session will come 2 days ahead of the Urology Associate's 7th annual prostate cancer screening clinic, which will take place from 7 a.m. on Saturday, January 17th at the occasions at Penny's. Officials at the Department of Agriculture say there is still hope for the production of cabbage on Nevis. Cabbage production has been a challenge over the years, but the Department of Agriculture has seen some recent success. Yesterday, Director Keithley Amory spoke to the reason for the department's focus on cabbage production.
We have been importing plenty of cabbage. As a matter of fact, for last year, we are close to 80,000 pounds of cabbage being imported. And this is one of the crops that we are targeting, we have targeted for import substitution. We are quite aware that it's a crop that has some challenges in terms of pests and diseases, but it has been grown here quite successfully in the past. Farmers have been shying away from it because of the pest problem. But we at the Department of Agriculture are quite aware that with proper management practices and techniques that we can have very high production levels. And the plot behind us is attesting to that. So we are hoping that with this success that we are able to translate this back to farmers and encourage them back into cabbage production.
According to Amory, the Department of Agriculture has been able to successfully produce 2 varieties of cabbage at the Prospect Agricultural Station.
One called Caribbean Queen and Oxylus. We have tried both of them in the past. As a matter of fact, those are the 2 major cabbage varieties that are being planted here on Nevis. They are heat resistant, and in the cool season, as you can see, they go very, very well. But we have selected them because of the heat resistance for this area of the tropics.
Integrated Pest Management, says Agricultural Officer Quincy Bart, has enabled the department to provide commercial cabbage production.
First, we try to target the pests at all life stages. Usually when the farmers go and challenge pests, they go about only at the larval stage, but we go from egg, pupa, larva and adult. And the type of practices we employ here is, as Mr. Ami said, we employ the plastic mulch. Not only the plastic mulch keeps down the weeds and provides good humidity, but it provides an unfavorable environment for the larva and pupa to dwell, and that kills most of them. And also when we go about handling the adults, we use attractants.
Amory and Bart will be guests on Monday evening's edition of NTV's Eye on Agriculture with host Eric Evelyn. We'll have more local news after this break.
We are the grade 3 students of the Jackson Primary School, and you are watching NTV. Yay!
Welcome back. The Seismic Research Center of the University of the West Indies is warning St. Kitts and Nevis and the rest of the region to move expeditiously towards building resilience amid predictions of the Caribbean being hit with an earthquake of a magnitude of 8 or larger. The Seismic Research Center says Caribbean countries must develop, legislate, and enforce building codes using up-to-date seismic hazard maps based on the latest available science. Preparedness measures at the individual levels are insufficient, and greater efforts are needed to facilitate self-reliance. The region continues to be extremely vulnerable to seismic events, the center says, adding research suggests that the region is capable of generating an earthquake of magnitude 6 or larger every 3 to 5 years. Of more concern is that the Caribbean is long overdue for a magnitude 8 earthquake, which has 32 times more energy than the Haiti event. In light of these sobering facts, it is imperative for the region to move expeditiously towards building resilience to such events. The center says while there have been advances in many areas, the effectiveness of the implemented strategy from country to country still needs to be measured. The need for broad-based impact assessments for seismic hazards and risks is now greater than ever, with clearly established short-term and long-term objectives. Every year that passes without the necessary measures being in place is a year closer to a repeat of the Haiti disaster, the UE Seismic Research Center says. Nevis's Junior Minister of Social Development is calling on persons who have benefited from the Alexander Hamilton Scholarship Program to do their part to sustain it. Minister Brandy Williams was one of several speakers who addressed the annual Alexander Hamilton Scholarship Fund Tea Party, which was held on Friday, January 9th.
I would like to encourage past scholarship recipients to contribute in order to ensure continuity of the fund and to assist a larger pool of deserving students. I would also like to see in the ensuing years that students from the private secondary school also benefiting from this fund. Much can be achieved from the simple principle of pooling our financial resources to assist deserving students.
In recent years, the Alexander Hamilton Scholarship Fund has been sustained by past recipients of the scholarship and the supporters of the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. Meantime, the Social Development Minister expressed appreciation to the Trott family who established the fund in the 1960s.
Although the fund experienced a few years of dormancy, it has been around a very long time and many students have benefited. I would like to therefore pay homage to Mr. Amber Trott and his family for their foresight in starting this scholarship fund that has positively impacted so many lives on Nevis.
Minister Brandy Williams also had words of advice for the scholarship recipients.
It is my view that some of you will conceive creative ideas. Some will conceive great inventions. You may become founders of great institutions. You may become the first person or first division to hold some position of prominence. I therefore wish you every success in your future endeavors.
The Alexander Hamilton Scholarship Fund awards each recipient with a $500 scholarship per annum for the duration of his or her secondary school career. St. Kitts and Nevis has joined Caribbean nations in expressing profound sadness on the tragic deaths that have taken place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. On behalf of the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis, Prime Minister the Right Honorable Dr. Denzil Douglas has extended heartfelt sympathy to the government and the people of St. Vincent at this most painful and difficult time. Dealing with the death of another is never easy, the Prime Minister says, but it is particularly wrenching when it occurs in such an unexpected manner and affecting so many innocents simultaneously. We pray that the support and condolences of persons near and far will offer some modicum of support to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines at this time of such great heartbreak, and that God will imbue the people of our dear sister island with the strength that this moment requires, Prime Minister Douglas's message says. He says he is also extending to his dear friend and colleague, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves and his government, special condolences and any assistance that St. Kitts and Nevis may be able to provide at this very difficult time. According to reports, a bus transporting children to school in St. Vincent hit a utility pole and plunged off a cliff into the sea early Monday, killing at least 5 people. That's it for this evening's edition of the Nevis Newscast. Thank you for viewing. Good night.